So if we're starting from scratch, that's kind of a different deal than having a character already established. So we need, this is actually going to be like,
what I would do. Like, you know, you guys don't have to.
oh yeah, no problem. Since I don't have too many characters to choose from, apparently, it might work out just as well to do one from scratch. And it's a little review on story art. We need a who, which is going to be our character. We need a where, which we've kind of decided is going to be water themed. And we need a what are they doing? So I'm probably going to be drawing, let's see what belongs in water. Maybe a mermaid, maybe a, well, maybe I'll just write some ideas down. What are the first three things that come to mind? Mermaid, pirate, maybe some kind of sea creature, maybe octopus. And what could they be doing? If you have zero ideas, we had this little trick in an older class where you think of a movie, a book, something that you liked, say Ariel from The Little Mermaid, looking at, what does she look at? The ship? The prince?
Yeah. Also, she also dramatically kind of perches herself on a rock.
That's right, she sings on that rock. Then all you have to do is switch the things around so that it's not Ariel. It's an octopus looking at not a prince. What might an octopus look at? I'm gonna say a balloon. A hot air balloon. Wishing to fly. Already we got a story going here. This octopus wishes it could fly. So very messy, but that's kind of what we did in story art when we're like, I don't know what to draw. I have no ideas. Start with something that you like, swap some things around, and then it might lead you down a path of inspiration. So that was on one layer. I'm gonna make a new layer. Shrink my ideas down, stick them in the corner where I can see them. Get a different color to doodle with. So my octopus looking at the hot air balloon. The hot air balloon is probably going to be in the sky. I do my little doodle and go, okay, hot air balloon's going to be over there. And then my octopus might be down here looking up going, oh, I wish I could fly. With the water line somewhere there. Maybe some rocks. Maybe a derpy looking seagull being like, what, you crazy, you can't fly. And that begins the movie. This octopus wishing to fly. Put some other islands back there. Maybe some clouds on the horizon. Very loose, very sketchy. But we're kind of checking out the placement of things, the eye flow of things. Right now I've got this sort of sweeping motion between these objects. That makes a nice kind of curve around, go back through the clouds, back to the octopus. Kind of liking that. So let's take a look at how we might do the water. I'm going to keep my doodle on my doodle layer. In fact, I'm going to name it doodle so that I don't forget what layer is what. This was just my idea.
Oh, hey, what are water donuts called?
There's going to be water. Water rings? Water tubes? Inner tubes? Might be inner tubes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to lighten up my doodle layer. So I'm going to take down the opacity from 100 down to like 50, 41, something like that. Something where it's faint, but I can still kind of see it. And I'm going to get my selection tool and decide where I want that water line. This whole bottom area of my picture is going to be water. I'm going to grab a darker blue and a lighter blue. And if you want your water to look more like a tropical ocean, you'll pick more like turquoises. If it's like chilly frozen water, you'll do something closer to purples. And if it's just sort of regular river water or lake water, you'll pick something more in the middle blue section. But I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get my gradient tool and put down my watercolor that gets darker as it comes closer to us and lighter as it goes farther away. That's a little subtle though. I think I'm going to change my lighter blue even lighter. Maybe not that light. Maybe this one will get a little darker. There we go. Something that just kind of has a transition to start with. The reason I'm getting lighter as it goes into the distance is I'm going to have it reflecting the sky color, which is going to be a lighter blue. And so if it's lighter in the back, it's got to get darker in the front. Then I'm going to get a new layer. Call this, I don't know, detail 1. We're going to have a couple of layers here, so I'll just call it that. I'm going to get pure white and clip it to the bottom layer. Clipping means that it'll only let me draw on the same pixels that I have on the layer beneath it. So for example, let me just show you in red. If it is not clipped, why is it not drawing? If it is not clipped, there we go. I can draw outside of the water, but when it is clipped, it'll just snap it to the pixels that are on the water layer. So that's what I want. I want it to be clipped to the water layer, and I'm going to get pure white. And I'm going to start doing those wiggles on the water. And these don't have any real logic to them. I mean, it is part of the way that light reflects off the water and such like that. But for right now, just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to wiggle them around, make those kind of like diamondy patterns that you sometimes see in the pool. They'll get closer together and probably fade out as they get to the back, so I don't worry about those too much. But at least for the front area, I'm going to make them pretty heavy and wiggly, because then I'm going to go to my filter and I'm going to Gaussian blur the heck out of them. Keep on going, basically until they break. I call it breaking, where the edges, you can still see the defined edges and still looks like string, but at some point it'll stop looking like string and it'll just look like smudges. Well, like that. That's pretty much what we want. So I'm going to say okay. And if you want to play with blending modes, you can try what happens when you put it on overlay. It'll turn a little bit of a lighter blue. Then I'm going to get another layer. I'm going to once again clip it. I'll call this detail 2. And I want to go back over some of these with my sharp lines now. So these are not going to get blurred. These are going to be nice, crisp, watery details. And I'm still just kind of following some of those shapes that I did on the blurry layer. And slowly but surely, we'll start building up these reflections and highlights. Please move this window away from the shared space. Let me try hiding that. Tracy entered. I don't think she knows this is digital, but that's okay.
Hi, Tracy.
I cannot see the chat, Tracy, but just so you know, this is a digital art class. We're working on our computers for this one. Normally we would spend a long time doing this, but just to show you the next step, I duplicate that white one that I just did. So now I have 2. And I'm going to use those as like a drop shadow. So I'm going to move them kind of diagonally over. Protect the alpha so that I can fill them up with a very dark blue or a very dark purple by hitting the insert key. Oops, they should be underneath the white ones. And we're going to blur those as well. Maybe not quite so much as the first one, but still pretty blurred. So that we can start getting these different blues all layered up.
But the one that seems to have like disappeared.
One of them disappeared. I have the water, base water.
Yeah.
The squiggles, the shadows.
Oh, the
and then
shadows got
ones.
glossing it. So
yeah.
How did you turn those shadows dark? I kind of missed that little piece.
No problem. I protected the alpha so that we don't add any new pixels. Then I got my paint bucket and the darker color, and I just hit the insert key on my keyboard.
Let's try that. Oh, that worked. And then Gaussian blur up, eh?
Not gonna lie, looking up like dino pool floats for specifically, you know, for reference images for what I'm doing is very fun. Like the results are very fun. Albeit now it's like kind of hard to draw, but whatever. It also opened up my eyes to how the variety of pool floats.
Absolutely.
And how many cool ones are.
Let's say you have a little splash that you want to add. I'm going to get a new layer, call this splash. In fact, I might put it in its own folder just in case we get crazy with the layers. I'm going to color pick from wherever my splash is going to appear. So if it's down at the dark blue, it'll be dark, but if it's up here with the lighter blue, it'll be one of the lighter blues. And I'll just sketch out in silhouette, just like we do with the trees, what I want this splash to look like. And you might need a bigger brush so it doesn't take you 5 years to get the general shape of your splash going. It's okay if it's ugly. Digital art is all about starting ugly and getting prettier as it goes. But I think just for being able to see it, I'm going to darken mine just so that you can tell where it is and what's going on. I'm going to have some water splashing up against this rock that my seagull is going to be on.
You render water very nicely.
The splash is especially masterful, I think.
Oh, yeah. It's better than mine.
Yeah, we could always change it and tweak it later. But we would need just kind of a main one, or if you're just practicing, you can even just have, you know, a thing of water and you go, okay, I'll practice with that. Let me just take off my water so we can see it. And I can put it to the actual color it's supposed to be, which was more like that color. Whoops. We know that happens when we're on canvas instead of layer. So I have my splashes and I want to get a lighter blue, very, very pale. And we're going to make some of like the sea foam type parts. So let's start over here on this guy. To show it kind of shooting and twisting, I'm going to go diagonally and make these asymmetrical. You might blur these a little bit, but not as much. So I'm going to try to be a little more purposeful with the direction of it. Try to follow my water splash.
You're staying on the same layer at this point?
Yep, I'm still on the same layer. Let me get rid of my doodle layer so we can see that. And underneath this foam, I'm going to have the darker shadows. I think I might protect alpha at this point because I don't want to make any new ones. And you can go back and forth between your colors very easily when it's on the same layer. We're not going to make a cast shadow on all of them. We're just adding a little contrast in bursts or in spots so that it looks a little more like this water is flowing and splashing. Can't say that I love my pen sensitivity on this computer, but we'll keep going. You can even have shadows stretch across that lighter blue area if you like. Try it out. Pretty much anything you're painting or drawing in digital art, you're going to start with your base shape. You're going to add shadows, and you're going to add areas that are in light. It's always going to be like that, no matter if you're doing a person, hair, cloth, water, trees, mushrooms, feathers. It's all the same thing. It's a shape that's getting hit by light and the parts that are not getting hit by light. You can have some spray or some droplets flying off as well. Even those might have a tiny shadow. Oops, it was in main blue, not the dark blue. And then the awesome part. We're going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to protect the pixels. I don't want it to go outside of the shapes I already have. And I'm going to get white and black. Change my gradient tool to circular instead of linear. And because it goes from foreground to background, I need my black on the top. And I want to basically do that, so that I have it going from black to kind of a gray. In fact, I might turn my white to just a dim gray so we can see the whole thing. So we want something like that. Ignore that little splash down there. Obviously, this isn't part of the final drawing, but we want to utilize our blending modes. So you can try putting it to multiply and taking down the opacity so that you get some color variation that way. You can try putting it on overlay to see how it'll lighten some areas and darken some areas. You can try screen. That pretty much lightens up the whole thing. You go down your list, checking out, what does this do? What does this do? Maybe I like that, but it's too much. Well, then that's where you can take down your opacity and go like, oh, but I kind of like that. And you go, oh, I wish that one area had more light. Well, then that's where you come back with your white and you just knock in these other highlights and you go, yeah, that looks cool. I feel like this should have been water bending.
Yes.
Get Katara in here or something. But hopefully you could see the same logical process. I have a shape, not a very good shape. That's okay. We're going to start with a shape. Then I need to decide, okay, it has to have some parts in the light and some parts not in the light. So if I start with my foam, my lighter areas, I'm going to go back to my splash one here. And I say, oh yeah, here's some part of the water that's getting hit by the light. As it's splashing upward, I want to try to follow my curve so that I get this feeling of curving around, splashing up against this rock.
Look up water park and I get a band I never heard of.
Yep, there's always a band.
Hey, what's the word for like, I don't know, like pictures that families take of, you know, their kids or like their, you know, just like to come back.
Snapshots.
Yeah, snapshots, vacation pictures,
Yeah.
kids at the water park.
Yeah, because I'm trying to look for something where it's like it's taken inside of it by you know someone who is not a professional photographer, so I can, you know, I don't know, just get a scope. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, something that's not so much looking like a brochure.
Yeah.
So it's almost kind of a striped pattern with these lighter areas on my wave. And then I need some darker areas. The darker areas tend to go more with the flow of the water, the whole length of the splash. Looking for those diagonals for motion. And remember, even if you go over your highlights, you can just color pick that highlight, hold down that Alt key, grab that color, bring that color back, push that color. That back and forth conversation of dark color, no light color, no medium color.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some good pics because I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do like dinosaur characters, you know, that I've shown you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to have one of them who's like it has a floaty and water wings who looks nervous, and then another one who looks like they're about to kick them in the pool.
Oh.
And I'm trying to figure out how do I can like I got like, you know, the pool, like I'm just trying to figure out, okay, what do I put in the background to imply this is a water park?
Probably benches, lighting fixtures,
Trash barrel.
trash cans, yeah. Signs about restrooms that way.
Yeah, signs are good. Maybe a place, a ticket booth. A line of people standing waiting.
That is a good idea.
With my lighter color, I'm also going to make the shapes of any splashing droplets. But my pen only wants to do it at one size. We need varying sizes. And you might also have some very skinny strings of water. Just here and there, not too many places. Depending on how fierce your splash is, how strong it is. We're really just looking for excuses to make different types of shapes.
Really looks so good. I'm so impressed.
So I got that far where I have some dark, I have some light, I have my silhouette refined. Then I just duplicate. Actually, I don't need that one anymore. I'm going to duplicate it. And the reason I'm duplicating it is just so that I already have the silhouette made. Protect that alpha. And then I'm going to fill it up with light gray to dark gray, or you can even do like purple to pink if you're doing a sunset or something. Let's try out some colors. Let's say I do something like that and you go, that looks terrible. Then you start playing, right? You start playing with some of these layers and you go, okay, but I want it to be more subtle. And hey, it looks kind of cool. What if I do it overlay? Maybe I can bump it up a little stronger. Ooh, look very Lisa Frank.
Now, is the color on top? Yes.
Yes, the color is on top. And a lot of times, like I say, if you leave it at 100%, you'll look at some of these things and you'll go, oh, well, that's ridiculous. Who would do that? But if you like something and you go, oh, I just wish it wasn't so strong, you just take down that opacity until it gets more subtle.
Oh.
Ooh, some evil green water there.
Yeah, that's pretty evil.
Yeah. Let's see how it looks on my main water.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh. It's getting there. It's a little aqua.
Oh,
take that down a little. There we go.
In there.
And then you go, okay, but it doesn't really fit into my water here. That's where you can just take your airbrush, make it kind of big, grab that color, and just kind of spray. Whoops, why isn't it spraying? Let's take that off first. On my splash layer. Oh, protect alpha. Why is it not? In theory, that should work, right? You take the same color and you spray it on.
It's doing something. It's erasing.
Yeah, it's erasing some, but it's not this color because there shouldn't be an edge there if that's correct. Maybe it's my blending mode that's messing me up.
Oh, that might be.
But you can do it. When something's not working, there's always another way. Is you take your eraser and you very lightly kind of erase.
Oh, look at that.
Blends in. I think I might have to go back to my line details and take out that line so that it doesn't look so see-through, but you know, you work at it until it blends in. So we got water and we got a splash.
Ah, fantastic.
We'll see what we can do with those. We've got, about 45 minutes left. Excellent. So let's go ahead and put that into our pictures in some manner.
I looked up water park selfie, and a lot of these pictures are just pictures of people taking selfies of them, of other people taking selfies.
Yeah,
like a
snapshot.
I looked up snapshots, but that doesn't work either. It's mostly just like, you know, like big pictures of like the park in general, and not more like just people in the park taking pictures.
Oh, I missed this chat when I was sharing my screen. You came to show your unicorns, Tracy and Natalie? Of course, we would love to see them. I apologize. I can't see the chat when I'm sharing my screen. Absolutely. Go and get it.
Well, they sat through a lot of drying of
of water.
water. But that's cool. I mean, maybe they'll.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I see one. I
Let's
see one.
spotlight for everybody. Wow. That
Oh,
looks
wow.
so good. I love it.
Natalie, excellent, excellent.
Let's see the other one.
Oh, wow.
I love that one too.
Boy, the tails, that is magnificent. So are the remaining part. Beautiful.
Lovely. Good work, girls.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Now I want you to mail it in, take a picture and send it in for the art show. You guys are pretty good at that, but do it this time too. Nice. They're gone.
Alrighty. So yeah, practice some splashes. Let's see what problems we run into. Bye. Because we always know there's gonna be problems. Oh, there you left.
We should repin you. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I might have to just undo the water park thing because it's hard to convey it's a water park like the way I have it, like at this perspective it is.
Well, you also have to ask yourself, like, is it going to change the story if people think it's a swimming pool instead of a water park?
It's like, nah, I just
not
like
really, right? So like sometimes we get caught up on these details. I remember watching the like behind the scenes of Cars, and he says, you know, oh, we put Radiator Springs back on the map. And those artists spent weeks going, how are we going to have these cars pull out a map? Because they don't have hands, they don't have pockets. How are they going to pull out a map?
Oh, I love that video.
Right? And then finally some guy says, why do we have to have a map? Can't he just say it? Oh yeah, right? So it's kind of the same thing. Like if you can't find a water park, you're like, oh, how am I going to show people it's a water park? Maybe you don't. Maybe you can tell it's a public pool and that's enough.
Yeah, it works for me. Yeah, because whenever I think of public pool, I think of one that was around my grandma's house.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that's just like the general layout that I think. You know what? That's not relevant. You've never seen that.
I've never seen it, but I do know what public pools in general kind of look like. There's always a lifeguard stand and no running.
Lifeguard, right?
Yeah.
Signs.
There's usually a fence around the whole thing so nobody accidentally wanders in and drowns.
Yeah, I was thinking about when we did that brick wall, that fence, just nice, cut off a lot of other stuff you don't have to draw.
That's right.
Put up a
stuff
fence.
You don't have to draw. That's why I love the stone ones, the stone walls.
Okay, now I'm just gonna have to Google public pool.
Absolutely. Or even just make your water, because once you've got your water, you can manipulate it to whatever container you want.
Not near me.
Yeah, it always goes, do you want it near you? Like, nah, not really.
Okay, so this is our next challenge is a water background.
Water. I can
water and splashes.
Water and splashes.
And you ended up with a splash folder.
Yeah, I didn't actually need that folder, but I like, it's nice to keep it.
It's nice because then your water and its details.
Yeah, I could use a folder too.
Because ultimately, that's just the beginning.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get my folders set up here. Water on the bottom. Which one's this? Oops. That is the white. This is the blurry white. So this must be the shadow.
And does it matter what order those are in? You want to have the splash on top of them.
Yes, I've got the splash on top of them, and I want my crisp white lines, those to be on top. They shouldn't be under the shadows. They, I mean, it probably won't cover it up too much, but.
All right, shadows at the back.
Yeah, shadows usually at the bottom. Blurry white underneath the sharp white. And And then my base water layer at the bottom.
And your sharp white lines, they just go about halfway back or just back to the splash, and then they disappear and it's all blurred.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to go all the way back into the horizon just because, like with your flowers in your forest one, they're going to lose detail. So depending
Atmospheric perspective.
Yes, atmospheric perspective. I will throw in my sky though. I like to get my main colors down so I can tell where I'm going.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Maybe I'll make that one fade too. A little bit lighter.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. I've been noticing on my walks that the sky is definitely lighter at the horizon than it is straight up. And don't forget to save. Control save. Let's call this the seascape.
I'll even save my non-existent practice wave.
Your practice wave, yes.